engaged in going to be speaking here that will be muting and unmuting people as we go. So if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or enter them in the question box. So the first we have here is NL Wilson, and I'm not showing that they are logged in yet. So we are going to go on to the next one, which is going to be Paul. Paul, are you out there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, perfect. So can you just give a brief overview of what you did as far as social media?
Can you introduce Paul first?
Yep, I'm sorry. We have Paul from My Guys Moving and Storage, and he will be speaking with us.
And
so,
where do you want
Paul,
me to start?
what made you realize that social media was valuable for your agency?
Well, we'd always known that social media was valuable, but I'm the 24-year-old son of the owner. And when I came to work here, I was able to provide the necessary familiarity with social media, I guess you could say, by virtue of being younger than your average moving office worker. And we were able to launch that off the ground with my know-how, which isn't to say that you need someone young to create social media, but it certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that you've kind of grown up in the new environment of social media. What were the first steps that you took to establish it as a priority in your organization?
Well, just creating the pages is the first step. We created a Facebook page. We created a Google Plus page. We have a Twitter. We have a company page on LinkedIn. And then populating them with information, accurate and up-to-date information. Pictures are very important, especially on Google Plus and Facebook. Good-looking pictures, clear, high quality, and constantly updating pictures. They're both very visual sites. And then just having someone who part of whom's job is to stay on top of creating new content all the time.
Yeah, that's very important because you have to continually update what's going on in your agency as well as the market, and to keep people engaged with new information. So, was there any sacrifices to meet your commitment to the social media?
I would say the sacrifices are primarily financial. We have several financial incentives that we give to our customers. We have $10 off if you like us on Facebook, among other things. Plus, we do advertise on Facebook, which is it's a cost per click, much like Google AdWords is, or I guess in Facebook's case, it's cost per like. But we advertise on Facebook. We obviously advertise on Google AdWords. And just the time that we put into it is another sacrifice.
Yeah.
Internally, Paul, how many people do you commit to working social media? Is it just your sales force? Do you have inside personnel?
It's just me.
Okay.
Nice. What are 5 noticeable improvements as a result of these efforts?
Well, we have a much improved web presence for starters. If you search us on Google, not only are you getting our our paid advertising at the top, but you're also getting our Facebook page high up in the searches, in the organic searches. And I would say the second, that sort of leads into the second one, which is the positive reviews that show up. We've been pushing Yelp recently. We've always been pushing our Google reviews, which you do through your Google pages. And we have a bunch of positive reviews that show up on that. When you search for us on Google, our positive reviews on Yelp show up. So it's easier for people to connect with other customers, other past customers that we've had, and see their opinions on our services. We're a constant presence on Facebook. We have 3,400 and change likes on Facebook, which means that we have the ability both to show up on their friends' pages organically and through paid advertising. So whenever someone would log on to Facebook, they might see our ad on the sidebar. And they're not always moving, obviously, but if they are, then hopefully they will keep that in mind. It's easy for people to know who to refer. If they have a friend that asks them, you know, I'm moving, do you know anyone that you would recommend? Then we have been a presence in their online life, and so our name's going to be right in the front of their head. They're not going to say, well, I use this company, but I forgot their name. And finally, we send out a post-move survey. It's just an email that we send to everyone that moves with us that has links to our Google+, our Yelp, Yahoo, and Angie's List, which are all the review sites that we're on. And so it's easier for people to know where to leave us reviews, how to go to those sites, and we do provide an incentive for people who leave us reviews, positive reviews, excuse me.
Good. And that's kind of, you were just kind of explaining this flow chart that's on the screen. Is that correct? Where
yeah, exactly.
Can you kind of just run through that up there for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So whenever we book a move, actually even before we book a move, every email that we ever send out to anyone from this office has a link to our Facebook page, and it has the $10 off incentive for liking us. And that was another thing we did initially when we decided to focus on social media, so we made it a priority in all of our communications. And so we book a move, we do the move, we complete the move, and then afterwards we do send them an email, the post-move survey, which again has links to all the review sites where we ask for people to leave us reviews. And the reason that we have, we don't try and focus on one is if you have a Gmail account, it's easier to leave a review on Google, whereas if you have a Yahoo account, it's easier to leave one on Yahoo. So we try and diversify as much as possible so it's easier for people to leave it wherever it is, because it doesn't matter where it is. People can still access it. And that post-move survey also, it primarily serves as a vehicle for those review sites, but it also does have a link to a survey that we use. We use something called Google Forms, which if you just Google that, it's free. There's a lot of survey sites that you can pay for, but Google Forms is free, which is why we use it. And the survey responses populate a spreadsheet. And from that spreadsheet, we collect the positive reviews that are left, and we put them onto a WordPress blog, which is, again, free. And that WordPress blog, whenever I go in and I'll say Paul from Richmond says that My Guys Moving did a great job, and I post that to our blog. And when I do that, it automatically forwards to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So I don't even have to be on any of those sites. It automatically creates a post on Facebook, automatically tweets, and it automatically creates a post on LinkedIn whenever I create a new WordPress blog. And another virtue of the WordPress is, I did this yesterday, I don't collect positive reviews every day. I do that maybe once a month or so. And yesterday I put in a bunch of them, and now I have a ready-made Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter post once every other day through January. So I don't have to worry about that for a while.
Wow, that's nice. We do have a question. Is this your full-time job, Paul?
No, I'm in charge of, it's a small facet of my job. I also do CSR, sales, marketing. But another thing I do want to mention is I don't view social media as a sales tool. We have an app we created on our Facebook page that allows people to submit an estimate request, but social media is primarily, to us at least, a marketing tool, not a sales tool. And it, as in all things, the two are not so easily separated. It does help us sell, but it's not, you know, A to B. It's not social media leads to sales. There's a step in between, I think.
Good. What advice?
Did I answer the question? Sorry, I got kind of lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
What advice do you have for other agents, you know, to get started or interested in a similar program?
Well, the most important thing to remember is that, as with most marketing tools, it's a process, not a point. You never get to a place where you can sit back and say, I'm done with Facebook. It can just go on its own from now on. And it isn't easy. It won't happen fast. We started with 12 likes, I think, on Facebook, which was just, you know, friends and family, basically. And it's taken us a while to get to where we are, but the benefits at this point are quite tangible. I'm on Facebook almost every day. I have to constantly think of new content, and you got to keep it fresh. One of the things that I do is we're in Richmond, Virginia, obviously, and there's I don't know if anyone's a college basketball fan, but I'm a graduate of Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU, and they have a big basketball program. So every now and then, maybe once a week or so during basketball season, I'll create a basketball-related post which has nothing to do with moving, but people in Richmond love it, and it gets a whole lot of response. So try and mix it up. Do keep it moving related primarily, but moving, as we all know, is not the most exciting thing for most people. So try and create a little excitement apart from that. We do respond to people on Facebook, so you got to keep up to date on what people are saying, whether they're sending you messages or not. And you want to create a sense of community. It does cost money. It costs time, but it does have a real impact. But those impacts aren't immediate, so you got to invest. And you got to put hard work in before you'll see any returns.
And the patience, right?
Exactly, patience.
That's great. Well, we do appreciate you, you know, sharing this information with the rest of our agents. So again, I just want to thank you, and you know, we're very happy to have you speak to this.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to unmute Steve. Steve, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. This Steve is with Mooney's Moving. And Steve, what yours is on the Sandler training. Can you kind of explain what that is initially?
Yes. Sandler training is a year-long class that we meet once a week. We meet for about 2 hours every Tuesday. There's a lot of different techniques that they teach us, but they kind of break it down, space it out, you know, over the course of the year. So they kind of spoon feed you a little bit at a time.
Okay. So it's a one-year training plan?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What made you realize, well, I guess first, how did you hear about the Sandler training?
I first heard about it at the regional training through Ed Melton. And we kind of realized it was important because much like everyone else, our revenue numbers were down from recession years. And we just kind of realized that things couldn't stay the same. And we just took a leap of faith, and we haven't looked back since. Everything's worked out very well.
Sorry, we're having kind of a little bit of difficulty hearing you. Did you attempt any other training programs prior to investing in the Sandler training?
No, I did not. Sandler is the only formal sales training I have. Are you hearing an echo?
What was that?
I'm hearing an echo.
Okay. You said he's hearing an echo.
Are you using your speaker on your desktop or a laptop?
No, I'm on the telephone.
Okay.
Okay, that was a little. We can hear you a little better now. Let me just ask a few questions. What are the 5 noticeable improvements as a result of getting involved in the Sandler training?
My booking percentage has gone from around 50% up to about 60% on average. That was the most noticeable. Also, because of some of the techniques that we've been taught, I always know where I stand when I leave a customer's home. We kind of dig deep into the budget. I was never very comfortable talking about money previously. But if someone doesn't have the budget to afford a full-service move, we can kind of scale back with either the pack rack container program or just customizing the packing. So just talking about money has been a big help. And we have weekly accountability in class as well. So we set goals and expectations for ourselves, and we all hold each other accountable.
That's good. I'm just going to recap kind of what you said in case, because there are some people that, there's a little bit of feedback. So,
Steve, are you on a speaker?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Okay. The 5 most noticeable differences that Steve said is that his booking percentage went up from 55% to 60% on average. He always knows where he stands with a potential customer, and it's called like a clear future. Another noticeable difference is not everybody is qualified to be a prospect. So they've learned how to not waste time on those for whatever reason. And then techniques to make the customer comfortable to share their budget with them. So this allows them to customize a move package to meet the potential customer's budget. And then the last thing was goal settings, that they set expectations and goals for themselves and share in that accountability amongst each other.
Are we hitting the high points there, Steve?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. What the initial investment, would you agree that it's definitely worth that upfront investment?
Yes, we more than recouped our investment, and our revenues are back to where they were before the recession. And it's all because, in my opinion, it's all because of the sales training.
Great. And just to recap, he had said that revenues are up to, from where they were
pre-recession.
So, and he's chalking that up to the Sandler training. So, we are thankful that that had been mentioned at one of the sales conferences. And does anybody have any questions out there for him?
Has anybody else tried the Sandler training? Okay, I guess not. But
Yeah.
Steve, we thank you very much for that, and congratulate you on taking something and utilizing it to really upgrade your performance and profits. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me share. I'm sorry if there's some feedback here in the morning.
Oh, no problem. Okay. Next, we have Kathy with Mooney Movers. Are you there, Kathy? Kathy? We have you unmuted if you can hear us. Well, we'll go, Kathy, we'll come back to you. I'm not sure, maybe if you might be muted on your microphone or have your microphone muted, but I'll leave you unmuted in case you come back or can hear us. Sorry, guys. Not sure here. Having a little technical difficulty here. Just a minute. Okay, Dean, we are unmuting you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Perfect.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yes. So we have Dean on the line from Apex Moving and Storage. How are you doing today?
Good. How's it going?
Good, good. So we have you on ERC. Can you first explain what that is?
Well, that's the ERC's nationwide. It's I don't know what the E stands for, but it's Relocation Council. In our area, what's called the PNRC, so Pacific Northwest Relocation Council, and it's essentially people, movers, large companies that relocate people, relocation companies. In our area, that includes the big companies like Boeing, Amazon, a lot of the larger companies that are routinely hiring people and moving them. This is kind of it's a group for them and to share their work and interests with each other, and it's kind of that's what that group is essentially about.
Good. And how did you, what made you realize that ERC was a good fit for Apex?
Well, actually Roger Wise was up in town and took me to one, and I realized, that all the big companies were there. There was a lot of different companies that use movers. So we tried it out. We started, I think it was 3 years ago that we went to the first one, and we've been participating for the last 3 years. And it gave us a lot of points of contact, including lots of real estate, a lot of realtors as well.
So when you say one, you're talking about regional meetings or national meetings of Employee Relocation Council?
Right. So we actually just participate in the Pacific Northwest, so in the state of Washington.
Okay.
It's pretty big here. All the big companies, actually, a lot of the Graybles and our competition fly some of their regional heads of regional areas up here. It's such a big deal for a lot of the companies. So it is a lot of company heads come here to the meetings and participate in it.
Okay. Then what resources, or what was the initial investment, whether it's staff, time, meetings, financial?
Well, it's actually not very expensive to be a member. It's only like $150 a year. There's just not that many events that they do. There's, I think, 3 a year. To participate, you pay another $50 to $75 because usually there's lunch or something involved. And it's a good way to meet a bunch of people in, in large roles in this area. But in our area, we've also discovered that as a small company, Apex, and we still come with Steven's name behind us. We're kind of a small player in the big player pond is kind of how we feel. But we've still gotten our name out there in front of people and made lots of connections through this.
Good. What are 5 noticeable or measurable improvements that you've seen?
Well, I'm not going to be, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge proponent of it. We have not seen any moves from it in the 3 years. But what positives we have seen is we've got a lot more recognition from other companies in the area. I think our name is a lot more known. People are more familiar with Apex Moving and Storage. It brings up some credibility when we've got Stevens Van Lines behind us. Unfortunately, there are just about every other large van lines in there, and many of them have the accounts with the Amazons and the Boeings and the other large companies that are participating. In fact, just the other day, we decided not to continue pursuing on and going on with it because it truly is for a salesperson, it would take them too much time. It would take too much time away from their COD work, and I had a salesperson working with it, and it was going to take too much of her time to truly follow up with all these people. You know, this would all be national long-term accounts. It's not something you're going to walk into and quickly get moves from. And for us, in our strategy for today, that salesperson needs to work on COD sales, which is immediate return as opposed to possibly a return in a year or 2 or 3 years from now. So I would definitely recommend it to somebody, 100% for an agency that can afford a national account type salesperson or an owner that has the time to do that, because long term it will pay off for you. But for us, it is a long-term, and you have to look at it as a very long-term investment.
Okay, that's really, really important to know, Dean, and thank you for sharing that with us, because all of these successes, we have to realize they're not a one-stop shop. They will work for some agencies. They will not work for some agencies. Is there anybody out there that has had success with using the ERC? Okay, I'm not getting any responses.
Yeah.
But, truly, I've been involved with it before too, and sometimes you feel like you're getting lost. Like you say, there are tons and tons of movers that attend these events and that are involved, and I think the best thing that I felt I got out of it as a salesperson was the higher visibility. People would think of you, you know, when they think of relocations, and if their company did not have a firm contract, I got extraneous business that way.
Right, and I agree with that, and in fact, it hasn't been a loss because our salesperson has taken many points of contact that she's made with realtors, you know, the tops, you know, lots of different points of contact that I think will pay off, but she will work those separately, you know, and not have that investment and quite the time investment that would be included to just keep working that entire group. She's picked a few select people that she's going to continue to follow up with regularly, and I think that eventually will pay off because we've made some points of contact.
I think that's very smart. That uses your resources very wisely and doesn't get you in over your head.
Right, exactly.
Great. Well, thank you very much for participating, Dean. We appreciate your input.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Eric, are you available?
I'm here.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm great, ladies. How are you guys?
Good, Eric.
Eric, can you explain what your employee benefits program is?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we created was basically a kind of like a discount type program for employers to offer their employees. So what we've done is gone to all local affiliates, people that we've moved, like the first and foremost, you can do this by any office move that you've ever done could convert into what we call an EBP, Employee Benefit Program member. We offer like a free, no obligations, free to them, but basically it's just an offer for their employees. So we offer a 10% discount and like a box kit, like a starter box kit for any employee that comes from any company enrolled in the program.
Okay.
Good. How did you guys come up with the idea that, you know, this would be beneficial to move green?
You know, it kind of stemmed from a Stevens convention, one of the sales conventions in Vegas, just, you know, when everybody's zoning out on Ed Melton's slides, you know, or Roger's slides.
Okay.
But hopefully they heard that. But no, but basically, yeah, it just kind of stemmed from that and in the sales training with what you can do to gain new customers, and just kind of created something. Once we came back to our office, we tried to create something and have actually experienced a ton of success with it.
How did your staff react to it, or did they embrace it? Were they supportive?
Staff loves it. You know, it's obviously, you know, the sales force up until recently has just been me, but now I have a full-time director of sales. But as far as that goes, I mean, my employees have loved it. We put together a really cool kind of flyer that we send via, you know, an email to potential companies, or, you know, basically we also have something that we can hand deliver and show them kind of what the program has and how it benefits them.
What book of business do you think that has impacted most? Local, intra, interstate? Is it office?
You know,
and industrial?
all of the above. I would say all of the above, just because I've gotten 2 national accounts from it.
Wow.
For Stevens, Lynda.com, and Sonos, which is the new big speaker player that people have probably heard of. But they're both based here in Santa Barbara, and was able to land 2 national accounts from the interstate side of it, and countless intrastate, because they both are companies that are growing substantially, therefore relocating people from all over the place, and I get the nod on 80% of their business. So I probably get, you know, the intra and local I get a lot, but I mean, this thing, I went back and looked at numbers, and in 2013, our employee benefit program will directly be responsible for over 100,000 of revenue.
Awesome. And this is your first year, right?
Yeah, we did it. We're about 1.5 years, or almost 2 years that we've actually kind of been pushing it. But you know, 80% of that money has come literally from those 2 businesses. But a good way for us to get in the door with them, with HR directors and everything else, was just offering a no obligation thing for their employees that they then sent out to everybody, and then we just kind of did right by them. As we did get some of those local moves or moves fed to us, and then after that we went back to them and said, hey, you know, this is a good relationship. What about making it a national account?
Well, congratulations. It sounds like it worked out very, very well for you. Do you have
it's been great.
Do you have a written protocol for this program?
Protocol meaning, well, what do you mean by that?
I mean, have you, if you were to share this, would you have anything to share in writing for other people that might be interested?
With Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could share what we've got, as far as our the flyer that we send out to our potential people. Yeah, it's kind of like a little soft opening. You're just kind of, hey, this is us. We can offer this to your employees. It's something similar to like the Stevens discount that we get at rental car places and stuff like that. I mean, I know when I go to get a rental car, I always go to Avis because I get a 15% discount for giving them the Stevens code.
Yeah.
So you just become another one of those vendors that, oh, I get a discount with them. Why not use them?
Right. Maximize your stuff here.
Yeah, and a lot of it's turned into extra business too that just stems from that, because somebody that moves within the company, of course, as we all know, it's a referral-based business that we're in, that they then tell their mom or their friends, and then you get business from, from the person that you just moved that was a company employee.
Sure. And we all know those are easier to sell too.
That's right. It's a win-win. It's a no-brainer, really, and I'd be more than happy to share what we have put together. It's very basic, but it's very effective, at least in our market.
Great. Yeah, if you could do that, we will definitely follow up with a copy out there to everyone attached to, I believe, Katie, can't we attach it to this webinar?
Yeah, and if either way, we can get it out to you guys. We have your email addresses of, who's attended and stuff. Eric, that's also is that on your website?
We do have some stuff about the employee benefit program, on our website as well, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any questions about this program? All right. Well, Eric, we do appreciate your time in sharing this information with the rest of our agency family.
You bet. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm not sure, Kathy, we're still unable to hear you, but I can just go over a little bit of what Kathy, their company, took let me just pull it up here. Kathy, if you don't mind me speaking on your behalf on this, but what they did is they revamped their website, and the carrier that they used was Ottaway Communications, and from them doing that, they've been able, they're generating quite a bit more leads organically from their own website. So the resources that they invested was something they didn't take lightly. They redid the website for 2 different agencies. They have an office in Arizona as well. But luckily, Ottaway did the investment in stages for them. So and it's just like a monthly fee for each office. At first, her staff, they were a little standoffish, but once everybody kind of saw the big picture, they were on board and did believe that it would pay off, and which it has by generating more leads. The other part is the SEO investment, and they've been able, based on making the changes, they now show up on the first page if you search for, in Google, if you search for Mooney Movers or a mover in Albuquerque, and I believe they were previously showing up on like the 4th page. So that's been tremendous improvement. 5 noticeable improvements that she has. Their Albuquerque website went from 90 visitors to 183 visitors in 1 month. Their organic visitors went from 38 to 71. So those are in 1 month. So those are just doubling. Oh, and the Google page, it was 3 to 1. So in their Mesa office, they've gone from page 4 to page 2. Some of the advice that she has for other agents is research is the best advice that they could give customers when hiring out a moving company. Same goes for SEO. She's spoken to a lot of people who try and do their own SEO, but if you're still trying to grow your business and it's hard to designate the time that's needed to really make that improvement. She said stay up on Facebooking, tweeting. She tries, they try and give their customers the best service they can. So yeah, Kathy, like I said, I apologize that we couldn't get you on the line, but we do appreciate you giving us that feedback. So,
okay. Next week we are having our award ceremony. Since we don't have a convention this year, this is our off year. We do it via webinar, and awards are extremely important to any van line to recognize the successes of our agent partners, and we would like to share that with you guys. We've tried to make this webinar a lot of fun rather than just us talking and you guys listening and my head on Angelina Jolie's body and all of that. So I think you'll find it very entertaining, and it is next Tuesday, November 26th at 12 noon. So I hope to see everybody there.
All right, and then we appreciate everybody being on for this webinar. Sorry for the technical difficulties that have come up, but again, we do appreciate everybody's participation. And we look forward to speaking with you guys next week in the awards ceremony.
Hey.
Thank you.
Oh, who's on the phone?